Chapman versus Redlands. Homecoming. Let's do it. Both of these teams are coming off of unfortunate losses, for the Panthers losing 24-17 at home last week to a tough Whitworth side. As for Redlands, they lost 17-10 at home against Linfield, another tough side from the Northwestern Conference. Offensively, these teams are very different. Redlands uses a more balanced attack so far through 2 games of this SCIAC season, averaging over 100 yards per game on the ground and over 150 through the air. As for Chapman, they only averaged 77 yards per game, albeit only playing 1 game so far. Chapman had 291 passing yards to go along with that. One thing that both of these teams struggle with is yards per carry. Both these teams average just under 3 yards per carry. Not a good sign for either's rushing attack. Another thing that these teams struggle with is third down conversion rate. Both these teams are under 50% offensively on third downs. Out of these 2 defenses, Redlands so far has looked better through their 2 games versus Chapman's 1. Redlands only giving up 15.5 points per game so far through 2 games, and going along with 4 sacks, 1 interception, and 3 forced fumbles, 2 of which resulted in turnovers. They've looked like the better side on defense. As for Chapman, they gave up 24 points to a Whitworth side when they had the lead. Unfortunate. Let's hop into some key players. Starting off for the Redlands Bulldogs, wide receiver Evan Agwan. So far this season, the senior has amassed 5 receptions for 62 yards, averaging 12.4 yards per catch. However, in their last game against Linfield, the senior went for 3 catches with 44 yards. Let's see if he can build on that going into this week against Chapman. Next up for the Bulldogs, defensive back Jay Thorne. So far on the season, the sophomore has amassed 8 tackles and 1 interception. And in their last game against Linfield, he even added 1.5 tackles for loss and a sack. Keep an eye out for him. Finally for the Bulldogs, Jax Lee, a junior defensive lineman. While he didn't do much in that last game against Linfield, in Redlands' first game, he was absolutely dominant. On the season so far, he has 9 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. Let's move on to Chapman now for their key players. First up, wide receiver Amir Adels. Adels was absolutely dominant in that first half against Whitworth, and after a few good catches in the second half, the Panthers didn't utilize him that much. However, in that last game, 7 receptions for 145 yards and a long touchdown from Nathaniel Espinoza. Let's see if he can build on that. Next up for the Panthers, the man of the hour quarterback Nathaniel Espinoza. Espinoza threw for 291 passing yards, including a passing touchdown as well as a rushing touchdown to open the scoring. However, his 4th quarter interception that sealed the game for Whitworth, as well as an early fumble on a promising first quarter drive for the Chapman Panthers, might have cost them the game. Definitely look for Espinoza to be a threat, as he was Chapman's leading rusher with 51 yards, as well as the rushing touchdown previously mentioned. Finally for the Panthers, outside linebacker Cade Jordan. Jordan was an absolute menace in that first game against Whitworth. 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, a fumble recovery, and a pass breakup. Jordan was all over the field against the Pirates. This has been Nico Schwegler with your Panther Roundup. We hope to see you at homecoming. Check us out at CSBN for all Chapman sports broadcasts.